Today I'm going to show you how to make Spiderweb biscuits. For the biscuits you will need 275 grams of plain flour, 100 grams of butter cubed and at room temperature, 100 grams of caster sugar, 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. In a bowl to your plain flour add your sugar and give it a mix. Then add your butter, and with the tips of your fingertips you want to press the butter into the flour until it resembles breadcrumbs. Then add your egg and your vanilla extract. Give this a really good mix, and then using your hands you just want to bring it together until it forms a dough. There most likely will be a point where you think that there's not enough moisture into the recipe. Just keep going. There is. It's quite a dry biscuit recipe, so just keep bringing it together with your hands and it will come together as a dough. If it really isn't coming together as a dough, you can add a little bit of water, but just a little bit at a time. And then you want to roll out your biscuit dough on a floured work surface until it's about a centimetre thick. And then you want to cut out your biscuits using a circle cookie cutter. You can make them as big or as small as you like. I used a 7cm cutter. And any excess biscuit dough you just want to bring back together as a ball, roll out again, and then just keep cutting out your biscuits until you've used all your dough up. And then pop your biscuits on a pre-lined baking tray with baking paper. You do want to leave a little space in between each biscuit, but you don't have to worry about too much space because the biscuits won't actually expand that much. And then pop in a preheated oven at gas mark for 180 degrees centigrade or 160 fan assisted for 12 to 15 minutes, and your biscuits should just be starting to colour around the outside, and then pop them to one side to allow them to cool. And then to make your icing decoration you will need 200 grams of icing sugar, 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk and some black food colouring. To your icing sugar you want to add your milk a little bit at a time and mix until you have a really nice thick paste that coats the back of a spoon. And then you want to put a good spoonful of your icing into a separate bowl. And then you want to use your black food colouring to colour it black. So you'll notice with my quote unquote black icing, which turned out to be grey, I couldn't get it black purely because I bought the cheapest food colouring possible. I also needed to add a little bit more icing sugar in where it had become too liquidy. If you really black icing, you're going to want to buy the food paste, or you could buy an icing pan if you want from the supermarket. I didn't want to because I like to be able to show you how to do it if you've just got your icing sugar, and the black food colouring pens can be a bit on the expensive side sometimes. But if you really want black icing and you just want to make it easy, you can do it that way if you want. And then once you're happy with the colour, you then want to coat each of your biscuits with the white icing first, just covering over the top of the biscuit. So I like to do this in batches of 6. And then once you've coated each of your biscuits with the white icing, you then want to draw with the black or grey icing, whichever one you have. You want to do a big dot in the middle, and then you want to do 2 circles around the outside. It's very hard to do with like a fork or a spoon. I would recommend a piping bag, but obviously not everybody has piping bags, so I actually did it with a food bag or a sandwich bag. Just pop the icing in there and just cut the end off. It is a little fiddly and it isn't as easy to do, but it is a kind of cheaper way of doing it, and you still get a really good effect in the end as well. So once you've done your blob in the middle and your 2 circles around the outside, you then want to take a toothpick, and then from the dot in the middle to the outside you want to drag the pick through it, which then causes the icing to make that nice spiderweb effect, and you want to go around the sides of the biscuit until you've got the spiderweb effect that you want. Some of them I did 6 times, some of them I did 7, depending on how much space I left between each line. And then just pop these to one side. The icing will settle, so then it's all level, and it will also set. You don't need to worry about refrigerating them to make them set. And then once you've done this with all your biscuits, there you have it. That's how you make spiderweb biscuits. I would also like to say, try not to drop everything in to your bowl, including other bowls and eggshells.